one of the biggest games that's coming this year, I mean, it should be coming this year, or at least we should be seeing a lot more of it this year, is Marathon. This is, of course, the latest game from Bungie, or will be the latest game coming from Bungie. This is it was initially expected to be an extraction shooter, and it's just not really clear what the game is going to be, because this is pretty much all we've seen. We've seen some announcements and some like interviews with devs, but everything's been very, very coy. What we know is that things have shifted. Design has shifted. They got a new game director who previously worked on Valorant. The game has shifted now and actually has a much greater focus on, as reported here from Tom Henderson from last March, it's going to have a selectable cast of heroes and characters, which is something they've also talked about in some of the like interviews and stuff that they've done. So if I look up Bungie, developer update, you can see this.
The other thing to note about Marathon as a game is that we give you a lot of different tools to do a lot of different things inside the game.
Okay.
There's a ton of loot that you can find. There is weapons, there's equipment that you can equip to yourself that changes your stats or gives you sort of tweaks some of the things that you can do inside of the game. Consumables that are sort of like items that you can use inside of the world, like things that are like mines or like grenades. There's also consumables that help you sort of heal yourself and give you utility in that sort of way. But beyond that, there's also this other layer that is what we like to call our runners, which is sort of the template by which you equip all that stuff to. So each runner has like a small subset of abilities. And on top of that, you get to customize however you want. Thinking about sort of what you want to accomplish inside of the game, you might equip different types of gear to your character, to your runner, and then go on those runs with that gear in mind. There's also a lot of different sort of objectives and things like that that exist inside of the game. But of course, every single one of them comes with its own risk. And the risk is always present that if you don't get out alive, you will lose the things that you have on you.
So you can already start to kind of get an idea of what they're expecting. It's an extraction shooter. It's got much more of a focus on the heroes and the archetypes of the heroes. They're going to mention, I believe he mentioned specifically this one back there. So previews and stuff. Who are we? Stuff like that. He's going to talk about this character as well. So you'll get a decent idea of what this is expected to be.
Our game is obviously set in the IP of Marathon, which is one of Bungie's classic IPs. I think the first game released in 1994, so it was quite a while ago. But what we're doing with that world is we're taking a lot of the familiar elements, especially a lot of the things around the mysteries and the kind of eeriness and sort of like the, how do I put it? Like the psychological kind of creepiness of the entire IP as it exists before. But we're layering on some elements that we think really help modernize it and also bring it to a new story that we can sort of, and new world that we can sort of like continue to update and delight all of you with over the course of time. Where are we at right now in terms of making this game? Well, for the past couple of years, we've been doing a lot of aggressive change to the game, and we've been iterating pretty heavily. And during that time, we've been testing with a lot of players like yourself, also with creators. And so it's sort of insanely awesome. And I'm filled with gratitude when I think about it, because there's so many people who've just contributed by telling us, hey, this thing sucks, or this thing is great, in a way that really has helped us diagnose, analyze, and shape and shift the game in great ways.
This is something that's been reported a number of times, is that they apparently started bringing in streamers and like content creators and players and stuff that were high rank within certain games, whether that's Tarkov or what's another one? Hunt Showdown, or even Destiny. They were bringing in a lot of players, letting them play test the game, getting feedback, and then changing it based on that. And there's been reporting that major shifts have happened. For example, when the current game director came in, he swapped it around, and it wasn't previously built around heroes. It was built around just the player character, and that's it. And then he came in with his experience from Valorant and then reworked it into what it is now. So there's been a lot of shifts and a lot of changes that have happened. But interestingly enough, they say, like right here, previews. Let's see if he mentions this.
One of the images that is going to be showing up on your screen is of a runner that we have in our game. Its code name is currently Thief, which makes...
So again, another archetype. This is one of the playable characters. This is another one that they show, and it gives you a good vibe. I like the art style. It's grown on me a lot, but more than anything, the bigger takeaway is that he says in this that they're going to be showing, they're going to be doing a lot. Like they say, probably a closed beta in 2025, which it might and should probably happen. But as for when we actually see the game release, it could be next year. It could be by the end of this year. Maybe they're doing closed betas middle of this year and then it'll release later this year. We just don't know. But they've taken a very interesting approach to the marketing of it, because the original, I didn't realize this, but like the original game or the original trailer, it's got 21 million views. 21 million views. Like, that's a good number for a trailer. You know, granted, this trailer's from May of 2023. It's been out a while. It's had time to collect views, but that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. Likes to dislikes. I don't have that plugin because in my experience, it's pretty inaccurate. But with this, I think that at the very least, there's a lot of people interested in what Bungie has to offer. Now, in the last couple of years, there's not been a whole lot from them that's excited people, we'll just say. And so it really is going to be interesting to see how they approach it this year with Marathon. If they're going to be totally transparent, or if they're going to take the approach of this like dev update where they're really coy and they don't really want to say super clearly what's in the game. They don't want to show it to you. I don't know. Because they could continue to be really coy even through the end of this year and just do closed play tests and then collect more feedback and then they do an official reveal later. I don't know, but it's interesting to see the approach thus far. But I don't know what this year holds. But I'm excited to see what Bungie is up to, because I don't think they're going to try to just like, well, they can't afford to just phone this in. Like, they need this to be a big hit. They need this to do really well. And they obviously know that as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach it. Yeah, 97K likes, 5K dislikes. Yeah, Shadow Wolf. And in my experience, that plugin tends to, like, in some cases, double or even triple the real dislike number. At least in my experience, that's what it's shown. So the point is, I think the vast majority of people are really positive towards Marathon. At least I saw that trailer, which I think this trailer looks good. I think what they've shown there looks good. It worries me that it's been 2 years and we really have not seen much of anything about the game. So I hope that they've got more to show, especially because it's changed a lot in the last 2 years, allegedly also. So... we know more about Exodus than Marathon. Red flag. I mean, they, without a doubt, they've been very coy and quiet about it. And that might just be because they're working on it and it just keeps getting better and better and they can't wait to do the full reveal. Or it could be that they really are not ready to show it because it's changing so quickly and so often that they just don't want to bother with it. I don't know. But it's definitely frustrating and weird that we've not seen more, when the last trailer was like 2 years ago. And then they're doing some stuff, like they're doing the developer interviews and things, which I like the more candid look at the game's development. I appreciate that, but I also want to know what the game looks like and how it plays. And maybe that reveal is coming, in April, but we just don't know yet.